Two rows of black line the entry to the Texas Tech University System building today as a crowd protested recent academic regulations.
KCBD News Channel 11's Madeline Hall takes a look at the concerns that have been raised and how the system is responding.
Academic freedom at Texas Tech has been murdered.
Some students and faculty at Texas Tech holding a funeral after they say academic freedom across the university system was killed.
Now is the time to be vocal. Now is the time to shake up. Yeah.
They're protesting the new prohibited advocacy concepts put in place by Chancellor Brandon Creighton and the Board of Regents. Those concepts include content related to sexual orientation and gender identity.
These are not issues that are fringe or frivolous, as the Chancellor wants us to think. These are issues that are relevant to many different fields of study, from biology to psychology, social work. It's important that we learn how to work with diverse people in order to be career ready.
That career readiness is something Chancellor Creighton says he's focused on, calling it a duty to ensure coursework is aligned with long-term student success.
But working with CEOs and working with the expectations of the private sector, working to closely align the expectations of those that will be hiring students direct from this campus very soon as they graduate, I think that we are very much in line with expectations there.
But some students disagree, worrying employers won't view their Texas Tech degree as a well-rounded education.
The validity of our degrees are going to be very much diminished when it comes to job opportunities and such like that. An employer's not going to look at a Texas Tech degree and be like, oh, these people were taught by these regulations, these censorships and all that stuff. I'm going to go for someone who's well-rounded and able to speak and be open-minded about these things.
They also say their voices aren't heard by the university system.
We deserve to be spoken to about these policies that are impacting us. Shame on y'all. Shame on you.
But Creighton says that's not the case.
And we're not looking for 100% ratification or validation. What's important to us is just to know that people feel heard. That's what makes the world go round. I mean, that's the best part of what Texas Tech has to offer, and we're fully supportive of their right to speak.
Creighton also said diversity is alive and well across the system, adding that even if courses cannot discuss certain topics, students will still be exposed to varying views through their interactions outside of the classroom.
We have one of the most diverse campuses in America. You can walk across our campuses and see that immediately. And so that diversity, along with diversity of viewpoint, it's alive and well and thriving at the Texas Tech University system and here at Texas Tech University in Lubbock.
The Chancellor's office noted that less than 3% of courses required revision. As for degrees like women and gender studies, students already enrolled can finish out their current path. Madeline Hall, KCBD, News Channel 11.